Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our very own Tipton Tribune columnist, Denny And now, give it up for the man of the half hour, the star of Pyle and Company, Jacob Pyle.
I'm coming home after my time. Now I've got to know what isn't mine. Now if you receive my letter telling you I'd soon be free, then you'll know just what to do if you still want me. If you still want me. Whoa, tie yellow ribbon round the oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still want me? Now if I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus and forget about us. Put the blame on me if I don't see a ribbon round the bus driver, please look for me, 'cause I couldn't bear to see what I might see. I'm really still in prison, and my love, she owes the key. A simple yellow ribbon, what I need, set me free. I wrote and told her, please tie a yellow ribbon round the old tree. It's been long years, you still want me. If I don't see a ribbon round the old tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us. Put the blame on me if I don't see a yellow ribbon round the old tree. Now the old darn bus is cheering, and I can't believe I see 100 yellow ribbons round the old tree. Beautiful ribbons, beautiful ribbons. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 100 beautiful ribbons, 100 beautiful ribbons. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, beautiful ribbons. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Hello everybody and welcome to Pyle and Company. My name is Jacob Pyle. You know, a friend of mine recently told me an interesting fact about that song I just sang, Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree, and the meaning behind the song. I might want to take a few seconds of your valuable time to talk about it real quick. Yellow is a ribbon. Yellow is the official color of the armor branch of the U.S. Army, and that tiny yellow ribbon around a tree is a way of saying welcome home. I hear that story all kinds of times, and it really interests me a lot. Now, I bet some of you are wondering, why are you talking about all this stuff, Jacob? Well, on this week's show, we are going to be celebrating Veterans Day, and we have poems, songs, and other amazing things. We have with us on our Veterans, and as always, we have our usual cast of regulars. My co-host Denny Altair, Quincy's Brass Band's very own Brad Lobb, and the one and only Mr. No Name. As always, we have a terrific show in store for you, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Pyle and Company. Normally at this time of the show, Denny Altair will have a borrowed time article for us. But instead, in celebration of Veterans Day, we have a special poem for you. Some of you may not know this, but in addition to me as being a host of the show, I'm also the producer of the show, and so behind the scenes when I go through and put together an episode of our show each week, I always do a lot of research for material which I think our viewers will enjoy. And one day I happened to run across this poem, which is "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Of course, most of you know the poem by heart, and I know it's too early for us to be talking about Christmas right now, but this is not just your ordinary version of this poem. It's rewritten to accommodate Veterans Day. So, here to read this Veterans Day version of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" is my co-host of Pyle and Company, Denny Altair.
Thank you, Jacob. 'Twas the night before Christmas. He lived all alone in a one-bedroom house made of plaster and stone. I had come down the chimney with presents to give, and to see just who in this home did live. I looked all about, a strange sight I did see. No tinsel, no presents, not even a tree. No stocking by mantel, just boots filled with sand. On the wall hung pictures of far distant lands, with medals and badges, awards of all kinds. A sober thought came through my mind. For this house was different. It was dark and dreary. I found the home of a soldier, once I could see clearly. The soldier lay sleeping, silent, alone, curled up on the floor in this one-bedroom home. The face was so gentle, the room such disorder, not how I pictured a United States soldier. Was this the hero of whom I'd just read, curled up on a poncho, the floor for a bed? I realized the families that I saw this night owed their lives to these soldiers who were willing to fight. Soon round the world the children would play, and grown-ups would celebrate a bright Christmas day. They all enjoyed freedom each month of the year, because of the soldiers like the one lying here. I couldn't help wonder how many lay alone on a cold Christmas Eve in a land far from home. The very thought brought a tear to my eye. I dropped to my knees and started to cry. The soldier awakened, and I heard a rough voice. "Santa, don't cry. This life is my choice. I fight for freedom. I don't ask for more. My life is my God, my country, my home." The soldier rolled over and drifted to sleep. I couldn't control it. I continued to weep. I kept watch for hours, so silent and still, and we both shivered from the cold night's chill. I didn't want to leave on that cold, dark night, this guardian of honor, so willing to fight. Then the soldier rolled over with a voice soft and pure, whispered, "Carry on, Santa, it's Christmas Day, all is secure." One look at my watch, and I knew he was right. Merry Christmas, my friend, and to all a good night. We'll have more as Pyle and Company salutes its veterans right after this. Welcome back to Pyle and Company. As part of our celebration of Veterans Day, we have a Throwback Saturday segment for all of you. And in this week's Throwback Saturday segment, Jacob Pyle has an interview with a fellow by the name of J.R. Clifton. Here's Jacob.
Continuing on with this week's newscast, as I said earlier in the newscast, J.R. Clifton over here has been gone for a couple of months now for Fort Benning, Georgia for basic training, and now he has returned from Fort Benning, Georgia. And we're going to take a few minutes to let J.R. share his experiences for us on what this special experience was like. And I told J.R. this before filming, that, and I'm just going to remind him again, that because of credentials and stuff like that with the basic training for the what Marine Corps were you when you were doing the basic training?
Army, National Guard, Infantry.
Army, National Guard. Because of the credentials of the Army and the National Guard, I told JR before we filmed this segment of the show just to try to answer my questions as best as you possibly can. So that's what I'm going to do here. Alright? So JR, let us start off by asking you, how was it like in Fort Benning, Georgia?
It sufficiently sucked, but it was worth it in my mind.
Good, I'm glad. What was your favorite thing to do while you were on basic training?
Shooting off machine guns and throwing grenades and firing off rocket launchers.
Alright. What was this special experience like for you, JR?
I knew what I was getting into whenever I joined. I knew what basic training was going to be like due to my military academy that I went to. So, for me, it was really nothing special. It was just a lot of hard work and a lot of effort to be put into it.
And finally, what would you tell someone if they think they are interested in wanting to do basic training for the Army or for the National Guard or whatever?
If it's something you really, really want to do, like I said, it's something you have to put a lot of hard work and effort into. The exercise and stuff comes easy to some people, but to some others it's not so easy. You just have to put your full effort into it, and basic training really is, all it is a mind game.
J.R. Clifton, welcome back, buddy.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jacob. We'll have more of our Pyle and Company Veterans Day special after this. Welcome back to Pyle and Company. In celebration of Veterans Day this week, we have a terrific person here with us today to sing God Bless America. This guy is a singing sensation. Has had plenty of things happen to him for the past 3 years, has been a part of Jacob's tricks and jokes, and now he's going to sing for us. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one and only Groucho Marx, look-alike Mr. No Name. Mr. No Name, everybody. You sounded a lot like Kate Smith there. How did you do that?
It's just magic.
Mr. No Name, where's that music coming from? It sounds like the song you just sung.
Uh-oh, I think I must have accidentally left the thing on repeat.
I knew that was Kate Smith's original recording. Did you lip sync to the song?
Yes, I did.
Mr. No Name, you are silly. We'll be right back with more of Pyle and Company after this.
Welcome back to Pyle and Company. We have some extra time on our show this week, so Denny was so kind enough to have a song ready for us. And actually, this was a poem that was done by Johnny Cash, and it's called Ragged Old Flag, and Denny's going to recite it for us. So, go ahead.
Thank you, Jacob. I'd like to dedicate this to all the veterans out there, and I hope you enjoy it. I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "No, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your old flagpole's leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said to have a seat, and I sat down. "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." He said, "I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night that Francis Scott Key sat watching it writing, 'Say, can you see?' And it got a bad rip in New Orleans with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And it almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on, though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville. She got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from her Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea, Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She whipped from our ships upon the briny foam, and now they quit waving back here at home. In her own good land here, she'd been abused. She'd been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting threadbare, and she's wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in, because she's been through the fire before, and I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, we take her down every night, we don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag. And we'll be back with more of Pyle and Company right after this.
We are always looking for special guests to appear on upcoming episodes of Pyle and Company. If you'd like to be a special guest on our program, leave us a note on our Contact Us section of Pyle and Company website at www.pyleandcompany.weebly.com. Or you can leave us a message on our Pyle and Company Facebook page, or you can send us an email to Denny Altair at denny.altair50@yahoo.com, or Jacob Pyle at jtpyle1@aol.com. Please include your name along with your email address and or telephone number.
Welcome back. Every year on Veterans Day, we celebrate and remember all of our soldiers that make this nation what it is. This song is a good example that shows that many things that this country is good for. The song is called God Bless the USA. And here to sing God Bless the USA is my co-host on Pyle and Company, Jacob Pyle.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I proudly stand up next to you, defenders still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I proudly stand up next to you, and defenders still today. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'm proudly stand up next to you, and defenders still today. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Pyle and Company will return after these messages. If you'd like to watch more episodes of this show, go to www.pyleandcompany.weebly.com. And please don't forget to like our Facebook page as well. Back to you, Denny and Jacob.
Thank you, Brad. We're out of time for this week, but before we go, we'd like to thank our veterans first and foremost for all their hard work. And as always, we'd like to thank our usual cast of regulars, my co-host Denny Altair, Quincy's Brass Band's very own Brad Lobb, and the one and only Mr. No Name. Okay. Join us next week, where we'll be featuring some more songs, skits, and a whole lot more. Hope you guys can join us then. What a difference you made in my life.
What a difference you made in my life.
The sunshine day and night. Oh, what a difference you made in my life.
I'm Denny Altair.
And I'm Jacob Pyle. Until next week, good night and God bless my friends.
The preceding program has been pre-recorded before a live audience. For Pyle and Company, I'm Brad Love.